Okay guys, so it's your boy Sasuke back with another video, aka Mr. Abyss Actor. And guys, this is my update on my Abyss Actor deck list. I want to give a shout out for a friend of mine who is actually holding off some stuff for me, so shout out to my friend George, who is trying to find a way to help me get my hands on some of the cards that I need for some decks. And of course some of the cards that I need for this deck to make it run a little bit better and a little bit smoother. Again, also some staple cards, so big shout out to George. This one should count as 3 because I forgot to do 2 of his shout outs already. But either way, let's get into this deck list. It is nearly complete. It does have its side deck, which I need to start throwing in some hand traps for later down the line, but that's as soon as Soul Burner structure deck comes out. When that deck comes out, it's gonna have 3 Ash Blossoms, which is gonna be very it's gonna have 1 Ash Blossom in the deck already, so I need to get 3 of it as soon as possible when it comes out, which I do think is gonna be in April. Either way, let's get into it. So we start off with, of course, 3 Abyss Actor Wild Hope. Wild Hope, upon destroyed by battle or by card effect, either in the monster zone or in the field, in the pendulum scale, it essentially allows you to, he essentially just allows you to add an extra Abyss Actor to your hand. So if you play the Odd Eyes engine with this deck, essentially you're going to have like 2 searches. You're going to have a search for an Abyss Actor and a search for an Odd Eyes, which makes it all better. And of course its Pendulum effect is also really good, because its Pendulum effect allows you to search out, to change one of the Abyss Actor scales to a scale 9 and only special summon Abyss Actors that turn. Next we have a spicy tech for every pendulum based deck. Even the DDDs sometimes run this. From what I've seen, we have 3 of our boy Abyss Actor Curtain Raiser. Curtain Raiser, sorry about that guys, that was something else. Curtain Raiser essentially just mill an Abyss script, add an Abyss Actor from your extra deck back to your hand. Not only that, but once per duel you can special summon him, so he makes free Electromite material and so forth, which is actually pretty bad, which is pretty good, really effective in every single possible way. Then we have the next little one, which is the second to the last 3 ofs at the moment. We have 3 Leading Lady. Upon destroyed, you get to set an Abyss script directly from your deck. If she destroyed any damage while in the monster zone, any damage that you or anyone would take, you get to target one of your opponent's monsters. It loses the attack equal to the damage that the player would have taken. Also, by its main monster, by its pendulum effect, any damage that you would take while this card is in your pendulum scale, you get to either target one monster your opponent controls and drain its attack down by the amount that you've taken, or add an Abyss Actor pendulum monster with attack equal to or less than the damage that you would have taken. My bad. And of course, at the moment, the last 3 ofs, which I still need 1 more card to make 3 for the 3 ofs, which will help me get closer to complete this deck. I am only 2 cards away from completing it. But right now we have the last of the 3 ofs is, at the moment, is Abyss Actor Superstar. Superstar essentially, when summoned, everything is like all spells and traps and effects cannot be activated. So that is extremely good. And of course, you get once per turn you get to set 1 Abyss script from your deck to the field, but send it to the graveyard during the end phase. So you usually activate your Abyss scripts the moment you actually use this card's effect, which is actually not that bad. You never really want to see it in your pendulum scales. You always want to use it for Exi summoning, Link summoning, or just straight up attacks. Well, technically I need a few cards to complete this deck. I'm like literally debating. Okay, so for the 1 ofs, we have one Abyss Actor extras. Extras is that one that if you don't have what you need in your scale and you have this monster, just normal summon it, then effect effect tribute, place one Abyss script in your Abyss Actor Pendulum monster in your extra deck, and you cannot activate this card's effect from the Pendulum skill the turn you activated that effect, which is extremely good. And of course, it also, like, if your opponent has any effects or any monsters on the field, you essentially get the ability to special summon that card from your extra deck, from your Pendulum Zone, which actually does help out because that makes it like another Electromite target, which is very good. So, which is actually very good in a sense, and you always want to like pop this card from your tribute this card from your what's it called, from your main monster zone to place a Pendulum monster into your scales. So that actually does help out when you're not in an efficient you don't have an efficient scales. So I would suggest run 1, but I am literally considering running 2 to 3 of this card, because this card you kind of do want to open up with because it does help out. Then we run 1 Abyss Actor Funky Comedian. Funky Comedian is just essentially there for the ability for its scale of 8, and also you contribute 1 Abyss Actor Pendulum monster you control, target another Abyss Actor Pendulum monster you control, tribute 1, and then the other one that you targeted gains the tributed one's attack. So that actually helps out in that case scenario. Next are the one-ofs. We have 1 Abyss Actor Trinity Understudy, mainly because scale 8, of course, and of course helps bring out your Evil Heal straight off the bat. So he does help out in that case, and is extremely effective. We do have 1 Comic Relief. I'm thinking about boosting Comic Relief up to 2. I'm not too sure about it, but I'll let you guys know. So Comic Relief is essentially you can target 1 Abyss Actor Pendulum monster you control and 1 monster your opponent controls, switch control of both monsters, then destroy this card. So you have say you have a weak Abyss Actor on the field and your opponent has a strong monster effect, just pop by switching the 2, which is fair in some sense. Then we have the stall card of the deck, which is Sassy Rookie. Sassy Rookie, essentially just first time it would be destroyed by battle or by card effect, essentially just it's not destroyed, and if it's destroyed from your Pendulum scale, if this card is in its owner's position, is destroyed by an opponent's card effect or destroyed by battle, special summon a level 4 or lower Abyss Actor Pendulum monster except Sassy Rookie. You could target, if this card is in the Pendulum Zone is destroyed, you could target 1 level 4 lower monster your opponent controls, destroy it. So that actually does help out when going up against crawlers. And any deck that actually spams level 4 lowers. Another one of is Evil Heal. I was running him at 2 to see how he ran. I liked him at 2, but I decided to boost him to drop him down to 1 because you don't really bring him out as much as you would like to. So just having him at 1 is very, very good. And of course, when he's normal special summon, you could target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. It loses 1,000 attack for each Abyss Actor monster you currently control until the end of this turn. And of course, when this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can target 1 Abyss script in your graveyard and set it. So that actually helps out in some sense. And I don't have 3 of this card yet, but this is one of the cards that I need 2 more. So we actually do have 1 Melomadonna, but I substitute the other 2 Melomadonnas for 2 Supreme King Gate Zeros. This actually does help out in some sense. God's calling. So essentially this one just helps me bring out the monsters that I need that are fusion or so this one helps me, so Supreme King Gate Zero helps me bring out monsters that are like so it does help out bring out some like really good monsters that are fusion, but their attacks go down to 0, but I do have a card that helps me fusion summon again. So that actually helps out for that. And then of course it is a scale 0, so you do use that a lot. Melamodona, essentially, if a pendulum card you control would be destroyed or is destroyed by battle, you get a special summon this card from your hand. You get a special summon this card from your hand, and so like that actually does help out in some sense. And of course, if this card is if an Abyss Script spell or card effect is activated, you can special summon level 4 lower Abyss Actor Pendulum monsters from your deck, but return them during the end phase. So this actually does help out in the sense of making Electromite targets. Also, you can pay, its pendulum effect is you can pay 1,000 life points, special summon one Abyss, add one Abyss Actor Pendulum monster from your deck to your hand, except Abyss Actor Melamodona. Once also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn, except Abyss Actor Pendulum monsters, except even if this card leaves the field. So that's a once per turn effect, which is kind of good. So that is all of the Abyss Actor monsters that I run for now. That is the main GIF of the deck, the main parts of the monsters. So that I do run all of these Abyss Actors, which actually do help out in some sense, but I am missing a few Abyss Actors which will help out even more. So I'll let you guys know when that is finished. And the last 2 monsters that we run are tuners, so we do run 1 Destrudo and 1 Orthros. I run Orthros because it is a generic level 4 dark tuner monster, so that helps out. And then Destrudo because, like, why not? It does help out with synchro summoning for your level 7s and so forth and so forth. And that's all of the monsters that we run. Going into the spells, which we don't run any traps, we do run the main Raigeki of the deck, which is Rise of the Abyss King. Rise of the Abyss King essentially just target as many face-up cards on the field up to the number of attack position Abyss Actor Pendulum monsters with different names from you control. Destroy them. If you actually do have a level 7 or higher Abyss Actor Pendulum monster, your opponent cannot negate this effect, which actually does help out. Also, if this set card in its owner's possession is destroyed by a card effect while you have a face-up Abyss Actor Pendulum monster, essentially just add 2 Abyss Scripts or 2 Abyss Actor cards from your deck to your hand with different names. So essentially just have a face-up Abyss Actor Pendulum monster in your extra deck, and then trick your opponent into destroying this card. You get more pendulum scales right off the bat. Next we do run 3 Abyss Daemon. I've seen people run 2 or 1, but I say run 3 because it does help out. So Abyss Daemon essentially just helps you recycle your Abyss Scripts by attributing 1 Abyss Actor Pendulum monster and setting 1 Abyss Script from your graveyard to the field. Also, when this card is destroyed, while this card is set face down and your opponent destroys it, and you have a face-up Abyss Actor Pendulum monster in your extra deck, essentially just spam your field with Abyss Actors from your deck. So that actually does help out with link materials and, of course, anything else that you actually would require. into the one-ofs, we do run one opening ceremony. Opening ceremony just essentially gain 500 attack for each face-up Abyss Actor Pendulum monster you control. And not only that, but when this card is destroyed, when the set card in Soul's possession is destroyed, you have a face-up Abyss Actor Pendulum monster in your extra deck. You get a draw until you have 5, so that is good draw power right there. We do run one Abyss Script Romantic Terror. Essentially just return one Abyss Actor Pendulum monster you control to the hand, and if you do special summon from your extra deck in defense, position one face-up Abyss Actor Pendulum monster with a different original name from that monster. If this set card in its owner's control is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, and you have a face-up Abyss Actor Pendulum monster in your extra deck, you can set any number of Abyss Script spells directly from your deck. You can only activate one Abyss Script Romantic Terror per turn. So this is a quick spell, so it does help out tremendously. I do need one more of this card, but we do have at the moment 2 Abyss Playhouse Fantastic Theater. You can reveal one Abyss Actor Pendulum monster and one Abyss Script spell card in your hand. Add one Abyss Script spell from your deck to your hand with a different name than the revealed spell. You can, while you control a Pendulum Summon Abyss Actor Pendulum monster, any monster effect activated by your opponent becomes destroy one set spell or trap card your opponent controls. You can only use each effect of Abyss Playhouse Fantastic Theater once per turn. So, sorry about that, guys. So that actually does help out because you actually want to make your opponent destroy your face down. So if your opponent has, say a monster that has an ignition effect like Buster Blader, the Dragon Destroyer Swordsman, this card will actually come in handy. We do have 2 terraforming for searching out your Fantastic Theater in case you don't draw it immediately. We have 3 Allure of Darknesses for we have 3 Allure of Darknesses for draw power, so just draw 2 cards, banish 1 dark monster. You don't have a dark monster to banish, send your entire hand to the graveyard. And then for random cards, like random staples, we have Hey Tornade for bouncing the spells and traps back to the hand in case your opponent has a lot of back row cards, and Ultra Poly for fusion summoning. So that is the 40 card deck. That's all it is there. Going into the extra deck, we run 1 Underclock Taker for just lowering your opponent's attack points. That's all we use him for. Electromite, because Electromite is essentially the card that you use for every Pendulum based deck. Just when it's link summon, add 1 Pendulum monster from your deck to your extra deck face up. Once per turn, you can target 1 face up card you control, destroy it. Then good for you. Just stay over there. You could destroy it, then add 1 face-up Pendulum monster from your extra deck to your hand. If a cards in your Pendulum zone leaves the field, draw 1 card. So that's the effect of Electromite, and that's a once per turn effect, which is actually a very good effect. We do have 1 Zephyr Metaltron, mainly because Zephyr Metaltron opens up more links, and you get to banish if a monster in this card points to a special summon from the extra deck would be destroyed by battle or by an opponent's card effect, add 1 monster your opponent controls. No, add 1 monster you can from your graveyard, or 1 Pendulum monster from your extra deck to your hand. You can target 1 monster on each player's field that was special summoned from the extra deck, except this card, banish both until the end phase. So this card actually does help out with bring out more extra deck monsters for that in case purposes. And a lot of people said this card would stink, but it really doesn't. we do run one Supreme King Dragon Dark Rebellion, mainly because you attack, drain your opponent, detach one excess material, drain your opponent's attack down to 0, so that helps out with doing extra damage in every case. 2 Odd-Eyes Absolute Dragons for preventing your opponent's attacks, which does help out in just about every case. And of course, when it's destroyed, you get to special summon an Odd-Eyes from your extra deck to your field, except Absolute. So that's actually pretty good. Number 11, Big Eye for taking your opponent's monsters, which is heavily relied on in some cases. Red Eyes Flare for burn damage and protection. Odd-Eyes Meteor Burst for busting out more combos and extending more combos with your Pendulum Scales. Now get this, we run a Scrap Dragon, mainly because you can target one card you control and one card your opponent controls, destroy them. When this card in this position, and okay, so we just use it for like more it's just a filler for now, guys. I'm sorry, it's just a filler for now. That's all it is. We do have one Supreme King Dragon Clearwing, mainly because upon summon, nuke your opponent's monster zone. And of course, once per turn, before damage calculation, if this card battles an opponent's monster, you can destroy that monster. And if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the destroyed monster's original attack. So that actually does help out in that case scenario. Ignister Prominence for just essentially targeting, for just getting rid of pesky cards. That's all it's really used for in this deck. So that's what it's technically used for in this deck. Of course, Bilzy of the Diabolic Dragons. This card is essentially used. Is actually essentially used for just protection and and you could just gain attack based on the attack that you took. One Odd-Eyes Vortex Dragon for bouncing your opponent's monsters back to your hand and negations. And Odd-Eyes Venom Dragon for essentially just taking your opponent's monsters' attacks and card effects. So this card actually does help out when there's cards that are lockdowns that won't allow you to attack unless it's a certain type of card. That is the 15 card extra deck, which is essentially good. So that is actually this is just a run-of-the-mill extra deck. Now going into the side deck, you guys are going to understand, or I hope you guys actually understand why I run certain cards in my side deck. And yes, I am a bit of a traditional player, so you will notice a ban card in this side deck. So we do have one Evil Heal just for extra power. 2 Comic Reliefs for extra 8 scale, along with the Trendy Understudy, just in case we actually need the extra bust out of Evil Heal. 2 Rescue Hamsters, of course, for helping out with Electromite summoning, in case we actually need the help. Mare for synchro summoning. Technically, that's all we use Mare for. Gofu for link materials. 2 extra Opening Ceremony for, let's just say you need more life points, or you need to make more hand draws. This card will come in handy. That's why we side 2 extras just in case. Fantastic Theater, in case your opponent has a monster that cannot be destroyed and you just attack, say with your, where is he? Crikey, where is he? Hold on. There you are. So say you attack with your Sassy Rookie, your opponent's monster wasn't destroyed, neither your Sassy Rookie effect before your battle damage, before your battle phase, you just bounce your opponent's monster back to your attack, bounce it back to your opponent's hand, and your opponent cannot essentially negate it in some senses, because it activates during your battle phase. 2 Pendulum Storms in case you need to get rid of spells and traps, and of course if your opponent is also running a pendulum based deck, just essentially destroy your opponent's pendulum scales and destroy his spells and traps, and your opponent will be like, what? Which is actually pretty funny. One of the funniest things. Pendulum Reborn, just in case we need to get this one back out, and we couldn't place him in the scale, and we couldn't use Odd-Eyes Meteor Burst's effect soon enough. So Pendulum Reborn will help you get this card back out in that case scenario. And of course, the last thing is a Proxy Dragon, mainly because just in case you actually don't want to, you want to open up more more openings, and you only have an Electromite here, which is pointing down here. You just link right here. You have 2 more. You do 2 more extra deck summons. Pop this card, you get an extra deck summon there, and you essentially just opened up 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you have 1 right there. So that's all for now, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Again, huge shout out to my friend George. He is trying to find a way to help me get the stuff that I need. So other than that, guys, that's it. So see you guys later.